What is a yogi? Here in California and in the States, we tend to say anybody who spent a weekend doing yoga or has a kind of hobby that they do from time to time, we call them a yogi. And it's the way of the world, and we understand that, but the definition of what a yogi is such a high and wonderful thing. It's worth knowing about it. It's worth understanding why when we say you're a yogi, we mean a very high thing. It's a high compliment. It's a wonderful honor to be called a true yogi. So just bear in mind the California definition, somebody who did hatha yoga for a weekend perhaps, and what the tradition of yoga means when we say you're a yogi. So here's what a yogi is when we use the term like yogis use it. It's when your mind and consciousness is settled in your soul, in your true self. When your mind settles in the soul permanently. Your mind is not settled in the senses, the body, the emotions, the thoughts, or the separative ego that makes you feel separate from one another. It happens to people who do devotional yoga, bhakti yogis, wisdom yogis, jnana yogis, raja yogis, karma yogis. You get settled in your soul permanently. You're a yogi. That's what a yogi is. Chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita says it this way: then alone is one said to have attained to yoga. Then alone. When having renounced all selfish motives, called sankalpas, one does not get attached to the sense objects or actions or accomplishments. The commentary of this verse is, Yoga Ruda is one who has attained the acme of yoga. That's what we mean by a yogi. Attain the acme of yoga, the high point. Human perfection reaches its zenith, highest point, in him or her. Deep concentration, jhana, deep jhana or settling, develops into samadhi or enlightenment. In this state, the external world, which is the projection of the mind, is no more for you. You know it's all spirit. There is no mentation. You don't have to have thoughts if you don't want to have thoughts. You just relax the mind. There is no mentation in him or her to manipulate the senses. You just come from a different place when you're a yogi. You come from the soul instead of the ego. As in sound sleep, so in this self-sufficiency and beatitude, this blessing of samadhi, the obligatory duties even get suspended. That's the difference between Eastern gurus and Western gurus. Ramakrishna Ananda and others have said, you should just sit, and the devotees should do all these things that you're doing, you know. But in the West, we like to keep our hand in and keep busy. But in the East, if you have realization, if you're a yogi, you just sit, and the ashram is built around you, and people come and go, and it's a different way of thinking and a different understanding that's involved, which we don't have much understanding of here. Anyway, is beautiful in both the East and the West, I think. Wonderful. Freedom from selfish motive, freedom from sankalpa, enables you to have a mind as calm as an ocean without waves. In this plenitude of bliss, bliss comes, ecstasy. In this plenitude of bliss, the thoughts of this world and of any others likely to come, any other worlds, are all blotted out. Well, they're erased because you see it's all spirit, moving and expressing in form. They're all blotted out. The eternal presence alone is. That's the primary reality. The divine. And its expression? Yes, but the divine is the one doing the expression. The eternal presence alone is. The brilliant, Ramakrishna goes on to say about this passage, the brilliant presence of God, Ishvara, cannot be perceived in that mental firmament which is disturbed by the gale of desires. You have to be free of desire, or God's your number one desire, and then you're satisfied because you have realization of God. Blissful brooding became a clear mind, became serenity, and you began to settle in the soul. You have samadhi, aware of spirit itself. And that, my dear friends, is what we mean when we say you're a yogi.